So could you tell us then, as that transitions into what you now have as Yinnergy, which is brainwave technology, using binaural beats, how did that come to be? And could
Well,
you tell us what exactly it is for those who don't know?
well, binaural beats are it's really simple. Binaural beats are sine waves. They're just tones, just sound tones. And if you use sound tones in a certain way by using a frequency in one ear and using a slightly different frequency in the other ear, in the center of your brain, it creates a binaural, it creates a beat frequency. So if you have one sound that's going boo, and another sound's going boo together in the center of your brain, you'll hear a tone like a wah, 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 wah sound. And that
Hmm.
wah, wah, wah sound, depending on the frequency of that sound, your brain waves will resonate to that sound. So that will mimic brain waves that's been studied in through meditation and things like that. So the same brain waves that happens through meditation, your brain starts to resonate to those type of frequencies, and that's how you get the meditation. So now you're able to, by having that knowledge, you're able to meditate without the effort.
I see. Wow. Well, that's amazing. And
Yeah.
so with Yinnergy, how did that end up coming into all of that you were working on?
After using Holosync for a very long time, actually earlier on. So I was probably about 3 years in at this point. 3 years in, I was really curious about this whole thing, and I wanted to find a way if I could make this stuff myself. But I didn't want to give up Holosync because it was such a great product. So I wanted to see if I could make these things myself. So I actually called up Centerpoint Research, just asking them questions, and the guy who I was talking to on the phone at the time realized that I was really kind of like a bit of a techie. So he gave me information of how to make them. So
Oh.
yeah, so I went back, downloaded some software, and started trying to make these tones myself. And at first, they were very rough. I didn't know what I was doing at the time. But as time went on and I learned more about binaural beats, this is back in 2006, I believe. Yeah, 2006. That's when I started to figure it out because I had to learn how beat frequencies work, what were pitch frequencies, and what were carrier frequencies. And once I was able to figure out the carrier frequencies, because that's the main juice for Holosync and also for Yinnergy, I had to find out how that worked because at the beginning, when I was making these frequencies, I didn't know anything about the carrier frequency. If the carrier frequency is too strong and a person uses it over a period of time, it will cause something that's called Kundalini syndrome. And what happens with Kundalini syndromes is a lot of anything that you've been repressing mentally and emotionally will come up to the surface, even physical stuff. So, for example, just say if you have a tattoo, an old tattoo, just say this tattoo is 20 years old. And for those who have tattoos, you'll know that when you get a tattoo, it starts to itch and it starts to peel when it's healing for the first 14 days or whatever it is. When you start meditating and you're doing a lot of that, and the carrier frequency is too powerful, the tattoos is because it's considered a scar will start to itch because your body has memory. So all of those things can come up to the surface. So anything that you're holding back, because all those things are forms of trauma. We see it as social, whatever things that we just do in our culture, but the body sees it as trauma. So when you're tearing the skin and putting ink in this, it just sees it as a form of trauma. So your body stores that information. So when you start meditating, and if the frequencies are too low, that the itching or the pain will come back. So you can even feel the pain of you getting the tattoo, and you can also feel the itching of when the tattoo is healing. So those things can come up to the surface, and many other things can happen. Anything that say anything that's emotional can come up to the surface. Any psychological stuff can come up to the surface, and so on and so on. So you got to be really careful when you're dealing with the carrier frequency because the carrier frequency gives it its strength. And the carrier frequency is a good thing. It's just you don't want to give a powerful carrier frequency to someone too soon. You got to work your way to it. So that's how we build the program. So you start off slow, light. You start off light with a lighter carrier frequency, and as time goes on, I give you a more powerful frequency as time goes on. If you actually went through the whole entire program of Yinnergy. So 2006, I started experimenting with this stuff, and by 2010, that's when I came up with Yinnergy. And in about 2000.